So you've decided to be a library music composer. Welcome aboard. There is room at the table for everybody. But maybe now you're wondering what type of cue you should write. What type of library music, what genre sells the best? Well, I'm going to answer that question for you as well as check out an intrigue tension cue on my week 23 vlog check-in. What is happening, YouTube? This is Dave Croft. Welcome to my week 23 vlog check-in for 52 cues. I am writing one cue, at least one cue every week for the year of 2021, and I'm talking about it, and I'm talking about things going on in the industry, talking about the cue, answering questions, really kind of whatever is going on. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found me. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe and all of that YouTube stuff. It really does help composers just like you find the channel. And before we get started, I want to give a special word of thanks to my Patreon patrons who help make this channel possible. More information about all of that at the end of the video. If you want to skip over the vlog portion and get straight to the cue breakdown, be sure to check out the timestamps in the description below. They will take you all over the video. So I wanted to talk about a question that I hear quite a lot, especially from composers looking to get into the library music industry, especially if they've been following the channel a while, or if they look at other channels and they know that, wow, there's a career that can be made here. And one of the questions that I get all the time is, what type of music should I be focusing on? Or really, what type of library music sells the best? What are libraries looking for? And that's kind of a double-edged question, because libraries are looking for all kinds of music. It's one of the reasons I like going to Taxi. Even if you don't subscribe, you can check out their listings and libraries and music supervisors and TV shows and movies. They are looking for all kinds of music. And I wouldn't say that there is one type of music that sells the best. There's one type of music that certain TV genres kind of gravitate towards. But there are as many types of television shows as there are people. So it's really not fair to say this one genre you should focus on. But I'm going to answer the question for you anyway. And the type of music that you, as an up-and-coming library music composer, should focus on is the type of music that you are best at. The type of music that you are best at creating. Now, how am I defining what best means? Well, the type of music that you enjoy making, the type of music that comes easiest to you, the type of music that if you had to write that piece of music or that genre of music over and over and over, you wouldn't get tired of making, or it wouldn't feel stale, or you wouldn't start resenting it. That's the genre of music that you should focus on. So let me walk that back a little bit. The easiest. What type of music comes easiest to you? If you were just to sit down and just write whatever you wanted to write, what effervesces to the top of your creative self? What just kind of bubbles out of you? You should focus on that. And just because it comes easy for you, A, doesn't mean it's easy for everybody, and B, doesn't mean it's worth less than someone who would really work diligently and pour hours into another type of a cue. If it comes easiest to you, then that means it probably flows out of a natural place from your creative well that I call the muse. So focus on whatever comes easiest to you, and that probably will lead you to your best type of music, the type of music that you write and perform and can bring to the highest quality. Those usually go hand in hand, because if it's easy for you, then you do a lot of it and it just kind of flows out of you. And so those tend to be the most polished. Because here's the deal. In order to make a career in this industry, in library music, it has to be sustainable. You have to be able to crank out a lot of this type of music, and you have to enjoy it. Now, do I enjoy writing, 30 dramedy cues in the span of a couple of months? Well, by the 30th one, maybe I'm ready to put that down for a while. Do I enjoy writing, 100 tension drone tracks? Well, again, by the end of it, kind of ready to walk away. But I never get to that place where, I really am not enjoying this. Those are a couple of my genres of choice. Tension music. I love drone tension, ominous tension. There's elements of sound design. I love dramedy cues. I love hip hop cues, epic orchestral. That's kind of my wheelhouse. I enjoy writing those. And if I had to write an album of 15, I know exactly where I would go. I know exactly the sounds I would use. And I'm already kind of bubbling with some ideas. But if you're trying to chase the genre, if you're trying to figure out library A is selling a lot of these types of cues, so those are the types of cues I should be writing, then you're going to have a tough time of it. Because if it's not coming out of a place of creative fulfillment, then you might be able to bang out a few cues. You might be able to even get an album of those. But I don't think that's sustainable. And you're probably putting your cues against another composer where it is their favorite thing. It is their best genre. It is the type of cue that flows out of them. There is something to be said about following trends, and there is something to be said about being aware of what's out there. But I would encourage you not to chase those things, because that's just, I call them, they're just cul-de-sacs of creativity. You just kind of get in there and you don't know how to get out, and it's not fulfilling. It's definitely not sustainable. Now, if you write something really kind of out there that maybe you feel isn't marketable, I'm here to tell you, chances are they could find a home somewhere. Somewhere. There is some TV show, some library that wants what you have. It's just a matter of finding it. Again, that's where I think like Taxi is a good idea. I'm not here to plug Taxi or whatever. I'm not affiliated with them. They've just really helped me connect some of my dots. Personally, I'm not a huge believer in jack of all trades. You know the other side of that saying, jack of all trades, master of none. And when you're getting into the creative arts and the entertainment industry, you are putting yourself and your music against masters in those different areas. And so if you bring something new to the table, if you bring your own passion to the table, let's say you have a passion for, I don't know, kalimba or recorder, or let's say you have a passion for polka music, then be the best dang polka library composer you can be. Branching out, exploring other things, but think about what's going to be your desert island. Like if you only had to write this cue for the rest of your life, this type of music, could you conceivably do it? And if the answer is no, then find that genre, find that type of cue, and write that. It's going to be best for your sustainable career. And if you're wanting to quit your job and you're wanting to or quit your day job and you're wanting to do this full time, then it's all about sustainability. It's not about chasing trends. So, short and simple vlog. I'm just here to encourage you. Find the spark, find the thing that you like. I'm not I'm avoiding the term like niche, like find your niche, but I mean, it kind of is. Find the genre, and it could even be a well-trod path, like trailer music. Trailer music is something that a lot of folks have a lot of passion about, but a lot of people write trailer music. So it's a very crowded field, but there's room, like I said at the beginning, for everybody at the production music, the library music table, because there is a staggering amount of television being made. There's a staggering amount of media needing music, needing your music, needing my music. And so we're in this together, and together we are better. But you will be better if you focus on the type of music that flows out of you naturally, that is easiest to do, and that you most enjoy writing. And if you focus on that, then that leads to a sustainable career. Simple as that. Simple as that. Your challenge is finding that thing and perfecting the craft in those types of cues. So let's look at one of the types of cues that I really enjoy writing, which are tension cues, specifically intrigue type tension cues. This is for an upcoming album that I do have being released for a library, and this is called Cat Burglar. So let's take a listen to it, and then I'll talk about it on the other side. So that is a Cat Burglar. It is an intrigue tension cue. What makes it intrigue and not light tension or ominous tension? Well, in my mind, intrigue, it's not overly minor, right? And it has the Thomas Newman kind of harmonic type of things. It's intrigue, really slow moving harmony. The chords aren't changing very fast at all. Specifically, this library wanted the element of marimba. They really liked the marimba with a little bit of groove and beats happening, which are, they're essentially kind of like hip hop grooves and hip hop beats into the cue itself. And so again, Cat Burglar is the name of it. And we start off with the marimba. This is going to be stock Logic marimba. Very, very straightforward, stacked thirds, rugrat kind of melody that's going up. It's nothing fancy at all. It's nothing fancy at all. That's going to be on my gravestone. Nothing fancy at all. Add the secondary marimba, which is an omnisphere patch. It's kind of detuned vibe to it. And then this kalimba patch. So these are all my rhythmic aspects. Lots of delay, lots of heavy delay. It's all building, stacking thirds. Brought in some harmonic stacking. So I start off by just stacked thirds at the beginning that then lead their way into actual stacked chords. So just kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of this claw motion going up and down. I did have a couple of pads happening. We had this low pad, another omnisphere sound. And so this is kind of borrowing this drone type element, which you really hear a lot in ominous tension cues, with some modulation, which brings out a lot of dirt and distortion. Another pad, kind of breathy, airy, with a low marimba, which I do separate into high and low marimbas for stemming purposes. Bring in a little bit of pulse. This goes along with my other marimbic rhythmic elements. A percussion pulse, an electric bass. This is just the contact bass, specifically the Scarby J bass. With the low pad, and that's where all the sub frequencies are there. All right, this is all kind of leading up to my B section. I recorded some eggs with as far as the percussion goes. Just some eggs here on my desk, right? Just I keep some shakers on my desk, and this track was actually recorded during one of the my music production live streams, and I was thinking, man, this really needs to have kind of a. And I think it came up in the chat like, why don't we just record that? And so that's what I did. I just recorded myself playing or singing and then some claps that came in later. They're playing. And this is a triplet pulse, almost like a 6/8 African kind of vibe to it. Afro-Cuban kind of thing happening. So you put all that together, sprinkle in some udu, which is a clay pot drum. Suspended cymbal that I recorded. Speaking of cymbal, I do have some lots of bowed cymbal effects all the way throughout. Turn on the waveform, make it bigger so you can kind of see it. And so these are going to be at the phrase points, and then I also add at the halfway phrase points. So bring all of that together. What I like about this shaker is this is in a triplet pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like a 12/8 kind of thing. It says in 4/4, but I have it in triplet. It's just easier instead of writing in 12/8 and the click and all of that. I don't bother with any of that. So if we're in a triplet pulse here, and I'm putting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 in. So it's putting this polyrhythm kind of in this polyrhythmic accent. Now you have to be really careful about superimposing these different types of polyrhythms, because if you make it too obscure or if you make it too complicated, then that makes it difficult for editors to use. You know, if they're wanting to cut it apart and line it up and waveforms and everything. And you don't want it to feel kind of wobbly. You don't want to obscure or obfuscate the pulse. And so that's why everything is everything not that shaker is really 1, 2, 3. It's very solidly in this 12/8 type of a feel. When I first put this together, my marimba part here, my low marimba, was a lot more complicated, and I think it might show up a little bit later. No, that's not. I might have changed it all. Yeah, I had like all this really syncopated stuff, but it was cool from a rhythmic aspect, and my little drummer brain really enjoyed it. But it just made it too complicated. It made it too rhythmically complicated, and it was cool in a Spyro Gyra kind of way, but I really would just confuse the editors. It's all building. And then we're coming into my breakdown. Then I bring this flute, native flute that I have, that I've talked about before on the channel, pitched way down, because I think it's in F. And so the original pitch is here. Some overblowing, some harmonics, pitch it down, and you get, and drench it in reverb and delay, sample delay to spread it out so it's nice and wide. Oops. Oh. How about I transpose the pitch and not? There we go. So going into this breakdown. Really kind of one of the challenges of working with all these pulses, I had to go into each one and mess with the delay rates, mess with the arpeggiators, little break. And that's a little edit point. And then just mashing it all together here at the end until we get to the final button. And you can see the density of my drones and everything building. Every phrase, something new is happening. Something new is building. Every single phrase. That's super important to give editors, music supervisors, whenever they're using it in the cue, that they have this build of energy all the way throughout. And so whether you're adding new sounds or whether you're adding density into the sounds that you already have. So that is Cat Burglar. I hope that was helpful to see. That was a cue that was written during a recent live stream. And if you want to see a cue like this get written in real time, then why don't you check out my Patreon, because the music production live streams, those are a benefit for my Patreon patrons. It's just $1. It's just a way to support the channel, and it then just gives you an opportunity to ask questions that I can answer, and you can join in on the live streams and have our live chat. If that's not interesting to you, that's totally okay. I still welcome you. But what I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see when I post new videos. I do post new videos every single week, including my 52 Cues check-in. And that's going to do it for me. I've got a couple of really big projects upcoming, and I can't wait to share them with you. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week for my week 24 check-in. Until then, peace.